Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Now we come to the time where we share um, our ideas about what we heard. Rabbi had a beautiful mashal that understanding that Egypt was the surrogate mother, and that Israel was the baby formed in the womb of this surrogate mother. And then when it was time to be delivered, it was delivered almost like an addict, addicted to the gods of Egypt, and now would have to be weaned. At the beginning, God was the El Shaddai, the breastfeeder. He nourished this baby, and now the baby would be weaned and would have to grow up quickly and learn to be more on its own. And it had to balance between the dependence on God with the free will to do what they wanted, a lot together with responsibility to do the right thing. Um, this morning I was speaking before we came on with David, with Dudu, and we were talking about how um, the um, people say, "Oh, the Jews are own the world. We rule the world. We have all the money in the world," and yet the five wealthiest men in the world, the first four are all Arabs in Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. They have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. Yet we, as a small nation, when we have one person who is hurting, one person who's taken hostage, we go to the end to bring that people back. And yet with all these people who are suffering, in Gaza, who have suffered, the reasons I'm not going to get into, but all these very wealthy nations can't even bring in their own people to live among them. So um, the other thing that I noticed about the portion is we must not forget who we are. We were born as a special people, a chosen people, and we have to be grateful to the parents who gave birth to us, even if it was a surrogate mother, even if Egypt was not a good mother and made us suffer, we still needed to honor our parents. Egypt was to be honored, and it speaks about that in our prophecies as well. Um, there's more to say, but I'd like to hear from the people. David, do you have anything you want to share about what you heard today? You have to take yourself off mute. Yes.
Well, the news, the news are so parallel to what we read. A small exodus, not of 600,000 people, but for us, 3 or 4 or 7 equals 600,000.
The 600,000 were just the men, just the armed men
Yes.
So we had many more. That doesn't include the women, the children, the Erev Rav who lived with us.
Yeah. So 6, 7 people, and so much joy in the house of Israel. Sorrow with a lot of joy.
Yeah.
There is mixed feelings when you see these people, the way they carry themselves, even though we know that they are hurt mentally, no question, because nobody, by the way, in the history of the world, there is no situation as 488 days in captivity. The recovery, the rehabilitation, it's all new invention in Israel. They built special units with social workers, psychologists, doctors, whatever, which is something unique because in the world never experienced something of that kind. And yet, when you see them over the stage with pride and dignity and straight walking, even though I'm sure some of them are hurt. They were tortured. Um, we must say that some Thailandese, 5 of them were also released yesterday.
Mhm.
They were not part of the deal, but they were released. And imagine, even though they are, like they say, Shorcha ve'amatecha ve'avdecha and whatever, even though they are of a foreign nation, Israel declared already that they are regarded as victims of the actions of hatred and terror, and they will be given for life an allowance that will keep them alive for life.
Who is this? The people who were hostages?
There were 5 Thailandese that came. They were working in the fields, and they were captured by the Gazans, and they were there 488 days, or 487 days,
Yeah.
and they were released before the 3 that were released today. And when they came to Israel, by the way, they were tortured by mainly through food. They said that they were starved and put in a room that was dark, totally dark, for 487 days. And what they did to them, they used to starve them, bring them food, and as they started, they were taking it away from them,
Oh,
sitting in front of them and eating. Um, so mentally, I can imagine what it is. But Israel as a nation keeps the promise to them, even though they could say, okay, go back to Thailand and that's it. Israel said that they are recognized as victims of terror, and they will be given an allowance that will keep them for life.
mm,
So, anyways, it is a celebration day, but like anything in Israel, it's always joy mixed with sadness and sorrow. Same as in the Memorial Day, we mourn 800 soldiers of this year. And the day just when the sun set, celebration of joy and same here, 7 are coming, everybody is joyful, yet another 59 are still in captivity.
yeah.
And hopefully it will be like an exodus.
Yeah. We were talking before we started the service today, how there's a verse in this portion. You can pronounce it a lot better. Yicheratz kelev
Lashon
l'shon
Hor.
ish. Yeah. And it says, not a dog shall snarl at any of the Israelites. As we were leaving, it's not a dog shall snarl at them as they're leaving. It's not the same as happening now with Hamas, because you have a lot of dogs snarling at the I watched them. These 4 women, these 4 young girls that came back with the elderly man. Oh no, it was 3 and the 80-year-old man. And
Yeah.
the Hamas were surrounding them, the Gazans jeering and snarling at them, wanting to tear them apart. And it was opposite to what God did in the Exodus.
Well, it is amazing. Well, they are called heroes. Um There is such a contrast between somebody who is in captivity, yet coming out as heroes, filled with pride and straight walking and waving to the crowd like winners. And they are survivors. And yet these men, 81 years old, agriculture person, kibbutznik, that spent, but by the way, he's a world known in growing potatoes.
He taught the people of Gaza how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And two things about him, like I told you, before leaving, he says to his imprisoners, he said to them, one day when there will be peace and quiet on earth, I will come to Gaza to teach you agriculture.
Wow.
Amazing. 81 years old. Every day he walked in his room. He demanded to walk in his room, counting the tiles, 7 kilometers every day.
Wow.
He walked in his room
Oh.
to survive, to be physically fit. Yet he lost 15 kilos.
Yeah.
But on the way, when he was taken with the command car by the Israeli army, he said to them, "Stop here at the field of the potatoes. Just wanted to work there."
Wow.
And he said that what will keep him alive is the work and the rehabilitation and the build of Nir Oz, the place that he was, from the head of the country, from the government. We don't hear words as from these men that comes out of captivity. He's all ready to go back to work his fields and to rehabilitate his home that was burned, and amazing. It's
This is the neshama of the people. Yeah, it's wonderful. Wow.
Chafetz Chaim,
Chafetz Chaim, they
craving for life.
life. That's we worship a God who is alive.
Yeah.
We serve a God, a living God. The land is alive. The people are alive until we serve the false gods, just like we're reading here. When we turn to false gods, the golden calf, that's when we get into trouble. To always remember that's, he gave us bechira chufshit, free will, but with that free will comes responsibility. And it's always that balance. How do we depend on God at the same time use our free will? And God is very clear. He tells us very clearly how to live and what happens to us when we disobey. Mauricio, nice to see you. Do you have anything to say about this beautiful portion?
Yeah. Um, well, I believe that today you are looking again this portion living in Israel because God with Almighty hand has delivered His people from this all these terrorists. Today were released four, I think, 4 persons more. So that is very well. We are very happy for that. Uh, and, and I believe that God has sent all these things. Well, the Gazatis, they are Egyptians too. So at the end, it's like it's a revival. Okay. Um, there is something that I really uh, like in this portion, and that is the fact that God allowed to Paro to have a very how do you say that stiffy neck,
Stiff-necked,
stiffy
hard
neck,
heart.
hard heart. Yeah. So, and it's amazing how many people I have seen this week, like Paro. Okay, very hard headache. Okay, they are looking the consequence of not obeying God, and they are looking the consequences of not doing good to other persons, but they still remain in the same position in his mind.
Mhm.
And this is so amazing because uh, it is like God allow Pharaoh and allow him to destroy all the nation. Okay,
Mhm.
and for that reason, it says in this portion that Moses had grace before the Egyptians' eyes. Because for me, it's like everybody was hating Pharaoh. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, it's very easy what they are looking, what they are saying. Just leave us and make sacrifice to God. And every time he started to say, yeah, okay, but Moses added some another petition, and then he started to say, "Oh no, but that's not." So, uh,
Yeah, first he
and
said, go worship. And then he said,
yeah,
who's going with you?
yeah,
And he changed his mind again.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then okay, go with your kids, but your cattle still remain here.
right.
So that is the point. Sometimes we could have these emotions in us. Okay, sometimes we are looking that something is not working, but we are still doing the same things.
Mhm.
Okay, so for that reason, there is something that I love from Rabbi, that every time I start to to be very hard neck, hard comes to my mind.
Mhm.
Be plastic,
Right.
be be plastic. Okay, because
Elastic.
be elastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
because if not, then you will be you will be breaking. Okay, not only you but your family.
right.
So uh, and this is something that is happening right now in the world. Okay, we are looking in Salvador, for example. They have put a new rules with the transit, as I commented you last week.
Mm.
But still, there are persons that they are saying, "Oh, I can do, for example, I can go and do, I can go fast, for example. I can drink a beer and I am driving."
Mhm.
Okay, so in and it's very sad when you look all these people in a videos going to jail because they are breaking the laws. Okay, and this is not about okay. Let's discuss the law. Okay, it's about uh, fulfill the law. So so for that reason, it's very practical this portion, but because uh, sometimes God is like saying you, okay, Mauricio, do not choose this. Mauricio, don't do that. Mauricio, I can hear sometimes his voice, and then I decide not to do his voice,
Mm.
and then there are consequences.
Mhm.
Okay, so uh, that is a praying for this Shabbat, just to be elastic, just to be, you
Flexible.
know, flexible, yes,
Yeah. Flexible and responsible
and responsible,
and
yes.
wise to learn wisdom. Oh my goodness.
And also when you are looking a problem, then you run away, okay, not to stay there, okay, because also there are so many persons that they love to be in the middle of the chaos, okay, and they are looking there are chaos and they're still there, okay, no, what are you doing there? Get out. That's why God told them, okay, start to eat and be ready to go away. Okay. So that is sometimes in our lives, but people sometimes also love to be in the middle of the mess. Okay. Don't do that. Get away. Okay. I remember that when I was kid, well, in Salvador, we were at war. Okay. And then sometimes there were some shootings when we are going to the school. Okay.
Wow.
But people instead to get away, that's a problem for Salvadorians. They love to go and look what happened. Okay.
Right. Everybody does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like curious persons. And then another shooting. Then the person who were to look, they were dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in sometimes I believe that this is something that I learned from this portion. Okay. God said, okay, people, don't get out. You will hear the cries of the Egyptians, but don't go and look out what is going on there outside. If not, what will happen? The firstborn will die.
Yeah.
Okay. So also that is very important. eh, when it's time to run, run. Okay. Okay. Don't be like Lot's spouse, right? She wanted to look what happened to Sodom,
Right.
and then she became salt. So, uh, okay, that is something important. Uh, and is the very same, for example, with accidents. This week, I had an accident. Okay, um, I came from the airport to pick some family. And I was driving, I was like 70 kilometers per hour, so I was not going so fast. But then at night, a dog get out from a bush and run into the road. So I brake, but I couldn't stop because there were another car in my right. I was going in the left side, and then the bumper of the car just crashed. It broke. Okay, the dog probably died. I couldn't stop.
Mm.
Okay, because there were some other. It was night. It was on night. Okay, but uh, at the moment I felt so bad because it was like an animal that I killed. Okay, I felt
Right.
so bad, honestly. Um, in a, but also I had like 1 or 2 seconds to save the people that were in my car at that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I decide to cross the car, probably uh I will crash the other car just right before on my right, or I can go to the bushes from the dog just
Right.
get out. So uh and then it came to my mind, and I said to God, "Oh God, please forgive me because it was an accident. I didn't want to kill that animal." And it came to my mind like a peace, a sound of peace. Okay,
Oh,
you did the right thing.
right.
Okay, because because if not, then the persons who were with you will die.
Right.
Okay, so that is the value sometimes that God is showing us continuously. Okay, sometimes we have to take decisions, but sometimes we have to take some hard decisions. In my
Right.
case, it was me and my family or the dog.
Right.
Okay,
Of course. Of course.
so um, and there is nothing else we can do. Okay, so it's not about we are looking to kill animals,
No,
nothing
of
like
course
that.
not.
So, uh, but 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 sometimes there are persons who decides because in their minds have been bombarding, oh this oh the animal is like human, and and don't kill the animals, go to the bushes, destroy your car, kill your family, and so it's like a perspective. Okay, there is no good or bad answers, and and also just probably sometimes you will have to decide 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, sometimes I have to decide like that, and I only got asked to God, hey God, please help me to take the right decisions.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
because it's like take it or leave it. So um in so for me this portion, bro, it was like that. God gave the opportunity to Paro, okay, to let Israel get out from Egypt many times, and he decided not to do. Okay, he had the chance, and because of his narrow mind, he couldn't. Okay, it was like I could not decide good, and God is today is like this to like Gaza. Okay, how many times Israel asked to Gaza release the prisoners,
Right.
the kidnapped persons, and they said one and again, no,
Right.
no, we won't.
Right.
Okay, so then let's start a war, and people could not understand that the war was not against the Gazatis. The war was that a pressure, act of pressure to leave the persons come back to Israel.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so and this that's very sad. So I am very happy that I hope that everybody will return back to Israel and safe in especially the kids. Okay, especially the kids.
Right. Yeah. Miriam, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Not really. I just agree with a lot of the things said, and the I always say this, and I always like the idea of how the process of leaving Egypt, even in our own lives, is an ongoing one, and it's a hard one, and we fall back and we go forward. So
Mm.
it's a real wonderful metaphor for our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be, the idea that, we talk about the brain being a plastic brain. It's plasticity. We're able to actually change the circuitry of our brain. But if we don't, if we're stubborn, it becomes hard and plastic. And that's something in our own lives. I see myself, even in little ways, repeating the same things over and over again. Like, when will I learn? But, don't become so fixed in our even our things that we do wrong, that then it's too late. And
Yeah.
that's what we have to watch. It's like, look at everything and be open to making changes, and even that when they don't feel safe, you know.
Exactly. So David said he thanked me and the community for letting him join and share the service in memory of his dear mom, and his dear mom is probably now speaking with our rabbi. Both spoke Ladino. They both have the Turkish Bulgarian backgrounds. When I remember when Rabbi met her, he was so happy. It reminded him of his own dear mother. And so there was a lot in this beautiful portion, and there's always so much to learn, and especially to remember that God is with us through it, everything we go through. When he says, "Build me a temple so I can dwell among them," he's really living among us. He's with us. We're surrounded with an aura of his spirituality, his grace, his mercy, his compassion to us. And I keep seeing that over and over in my own life, and how many times I fall, and yet he helps to lift me up and to pick me up. You know, it's the learning that, and I see one of the problems that we have as Israel today is this idea of pride. We think that if we're proud about who we are, we're strong and we're better off. But that's not what God wants from us, and that's a very difficult thing to learn. There's a difference between being proud about who you are and what you do, and giving honor to God for allowing you to be those things so that you can be who you're called to be. And that's the balance that we live, is because the pride is what destroyed Pharaoh right up to the killing of his firstborn. And then after that, the destruction of his entire army. He just never stopped. The guy was unbelievable. And that's the worst of pride.
But
And
what you just said about there's a difference when you're proud of something that you're able to accomplish, because behind even your own pride or acknowledgement of that is the supreme awareness that it was God who allowed you to do the things that you need to do in your life. And
exactly.
pride without God is not the same as what we call pride when it's backed by the knowledge that really it's God in us and working through us.
Right.
I mean, because that's why when I think even of Israel now being proud and strong, okay, you have to look at, is that pride and strength and look what I've done, or is it, really knowing that it's God who is giving this little tiny nation the abilities and strengths that it has, and that's so different.
Exactly. And it's beautiful to watch. I watch our people who share in the joy of all these children who are not their own, but they're part of us. And that's for us all over the world, but not only for the Jews, but it's the Erev Rav, those who join with us, the Mauricios, the Alejandros, the Isabels, the Sarais, the Etids, this little community is a house for all nations. It's a house of prayer for all peoples. And that's really, really important. When we left Egypt, and it speaks about the Erev Rav, our sages have blamed the Erev Rav for all the problems that Israel went through, because they don't acknowledge that we ourselves are just another nation. But what makes us different is that we have been a called nation, a chosen nation. And chosenness means you have responsibility. It's not we just didn't get everything that we want on our own. We have a great God. And God wants us to show that to all the nations. And we are in some ways showing it, but we have a long way to go. So with that, I want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. And I want to wish Alejandro and Yanet a safe journey. They're traveling tomorrow to Venezuela. We have to continue to pray for his mother,
Thank
Maria.
you.
You're welcome. Really a safe journey. Stay in touch. Just once in a while, just text me and let me know you're okay and how
Yeah,
things are
thank you.
going.
Please keep us in prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the most important is have peace in our
Amen.
heart, and whatever God do is good, and what we need is believe in that. Please keep my mother for the she had peace and
Amen.
her.
And I think
Thank
just seeing you, it's wonderful that she's going to see you while she's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so many people don't go to see their relatives when they're alive. They go to the funeral, but that's not what we need to
Yeah.
do. We need
And also, please for us, because it's not easy the situation in Venezuela.
no, we know we need
To go and back.
Yes, I know it's not
Yeah.
going to be an easy thing to do for you. So we will keep you in prayer, and thank goodness you go together with
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
the two of you.
Shabbat
Thank you very
shalom.
much.
Shabbat shalom. Go and pack well.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom. Bye.
Shabbat shalom,
Peggy?
everybody. Yes, Miriam.
Next week, who's speaking next week?
It's me.
Oh, okay. I have to leave a little early because I have a funeral. David, well, my brother David, his
Okay.
wife's mother died, and the memorial is next Saturday. So I'm
Okay.
gonna leave as late as I can, but probably maybe around 1:30, 1 or 1:30.
Okay, and also I'm going to have to make a new schedule for Mauricio. You're speaking on the 15th with Yitro, so maybe you'll do the reading then. I have to speak with Angel about doing the liturgy because for the next two Shabbats Alejandro won't be here, so we have little
Well, the 15th, I'm doing the responsive,
yeah.
right? Okay, it stays.
So that can stay the same, and Mauricio, if you can read that day, it would be good, and then we'll work out the rest of the schedule. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, again. We pray that God's
Thank God.
but really that we have His shalom in us
Shabbat shalom.
in all that we do. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye.